Now I will request our next presenter, Dr. Bijay Datto. He will give a talk on radiation hazards in cath lab. Radiation hazards in cath lab.
Honorable Chairperson, panelists, and dear fellow colleagues, a very good morning. I am Dr. Bijay Datto, President of Cardiology, NICVD, and International Affairs Secretary, BSCI. Welcome you all to this August gathering. Now, I will give talks on radiation safety in the workplace, especially in the cardiac cath labs. Ionizing radiation can be harmful. This is nothing new. It is one of those things that people talk about, but they never really pay much attention to it. We all know there are three types of radiations: alpha, that is positive; beta, that is negative; and gamma, that is neutral. Only the gamma rays penetrates our body, and it is avoided by the shielding. This is a cath lab fluoro-guided intervention cath lab, and here we see that the X-ray tube lies below the X-ray table, and even image intensifier lies above the table. And it is the scattered radiation that causes the radiation dose of the patients and the staffs. Now, there are three outcomes when X-ray passes through our body. Number one, this is complete penetration, and it causes imaging. And total absorption, some energy is completely absorbed by the tissues, and no imaging is formed, and there is partial absorption, and this partial absorption causes scattering, and it causes patient dose and the staff radiation. Now, this slide is very important. Look, if we consider the chest X-ray is 1 in radiation, that is 0.02 millisievert, then in conventional angiogram, coronary angiogram, it causes 350 times more than X-ray radiation, and a simple stent or single stent percutaneous coronary angiogram causes 750 times more radiation than a chest X-ray, and a CTO lesion intervention can cause 4,050 times more radiation than a chest X-ray. Even a cardiac CT scan causes 750 times more radiation than a chest X-ray. And interventional cardiology experience the highest amount of radiation exposure of any medical profession. One interventional procedure is equal to 2,250 to 3,500 chest X-rays. So it looks like a radiation cake, and we are eating it every day. The risks are real, and it causes the risk of cataracts, orthopedic strain, and cancers. Sometimes we do not feel anything after doing a cath lab. We are saying that so we are okay, but your exposure today may not be felt for years to come. Radiation-induced cancer have a biological latency of more than 10 years. So mind it. Myths versus facts is 1 in 25 high volume operators will acquire a radiation-induced cancer. 1 in 50 high volume operators will die as a result of radiation-acquired disease. It is the interventional cardiologist or interventionist, not the nurses or the technologist, receives highest dose of scatter radiation because close proximity to the X-ray source. So be aware of this. Transradial approaches has slightly increased operator radiation exposure than transfemoral approach. Peripheral procedures are associated with much higher radiation doses than coronary procedures. CT coronary angiogram causes more than 2 times radiation than that of the conventional coronary angiogram. So it should be kept in mind, dear fellows. And another important thing, as we are the right-handed operators and our left side is close proximity to the X-ray source or radiation source. So radiation exposures on the left side is almost double that of the right side. And left-sided brain tumor is almost 6 times more than the right-sided brain tumor. That is 86% versus 14%. So this is a very important topics where things we have to keep in mind. And it causes back pain. Now the biological effects already mentioned by the Dugapati in the very early morning of this session. There are 2 types of effect. One is deterministic, that is dose dependent, and it causes hair loss, skin damage, tissue necrosis, cataract, sterility, decreased amount of WBC count, and stochastic effect that is not dose dependent, and it may cause in even a single exposure. It may cause cancer and genetic defects. It causes biological effect of radiation. It causes the DNA damage, and causes the cancer cells productions, and ultimately the cancer produces. And this is some skin effect. The dry desquamation and skin necrosis may occur in higher doses of radiation. And dose exposure is described in terms of following parameters. The sum is fluoroscopy time, one is ER karma, and one is dose area product, that is depth. Now the fluoroscopy time, the limitation of fluoroscopy time is that it does not count the Zener time. And ER karma is the measure of energy sources that is delivered to ER in an interventional reference point that is 15 centimeter from the isocenter of the direction of the focal, that is from the source of energy. These measures has been closely associated with the deterministic effect, and dose area product, when we multiply the area into the with the ER karma, that is called the dose area product, that is depth, and it usually associated with the stochastic effect. And we can count this in our cath lab like this in dosimeter, fluoro time, ER karma, dose area product, and frame rate also. Now the basic principles of radiation protection is that it should be used justifiably. And when it is required, we should use it as LRA principle. LRA means as low as reasonably acceptable. And when we should use it, we should be kept, it should be kept in within the dose limit of radiations. The principles I already mentioned, that LRA versus NUID. NUID means no idea what I am doing. So we should be careful about the LRA. And the most important, another important things of radiation prevention is TDS, that is time, distance, and shielding of principles. We should maintain our distance. We should, time should be less and shielding should be maintained. And this is the diagnostic reference level, that is coronary angiogram. Depth should be less than 31 gray per centimeter square, and fluoro time should be less than 4.3 minutes. In coronary graft angiogram, the fluoro time should be less than 13 minutes. PTCA single stent should be fluoro time should be less than 11.3 minutes, and permanent pacemaker fluoro time should be less than 6 minutes. And most of us do not know regarding this. We should be aware of this. This is dosimeter. We should measure our radiation in every year, and it measures about the absorbed dose, equivalent dose, and effective dose. How much radiation I get, it can give a measure to us. So dosimeter, we should use two dosimeter, one at the level of the collar, above the apron, lead apron, and one behind the apron. That is that dosimeter that lies above the collar level. It measures the deterministic effect, and that lies below the apron, it measures the stochastic effect, that is the cancer effect, cancer risk. This is the real-time dosimeter. It can help you in measure directly in the cath lab. And this is most important things. This is that the low subject imaging distance subject to imaging, that is the image intensifier distance should be low, that is 30 centimeter, as source to distance should be maintained at least 80 centimeter. If the source to patient distance is go down, that is less than 80 centimeter, it causes more scatter radiation. And if the image intensifier goes above and the distance increases from the patient source, it causes magnification and it causes more patient doses. And regarding thin and thick patients, and when there is a thick patient, we usually down the intensifier, up the intensifier and down the X-ray sources. It should not be done. And when we cause in a lateral position, X-ray, it causes more radiation. Effect of angulation causes more radiation. And when we use the magnification mode, it increases more radiation. And use of collimation, that is set up in our machines, and use of collimation causes decreased radiation. And frame rate, we should down our frame rates from 30 to 15 per second. And we should not be angulated our face towards the patient. It causes more radiation, 4 times more radiation if we keep our face straight. Then we should keep the side shield and the hanging shield and the below table shield in proper positions. We should avoid heavy food. And this is the various protectors that we should use regularly. This is the radiation shields. And we should check our aprons regularly, lead aprons, and we should not keep it in this position. We should maintain in a hanging table. And we can use red pad to it causes 20% reduction in the operator exposure. And this is a zero gravity radiation protection systems. It can save us from our back pain. And this is a robotic cath lab. And this is the latest egg nest cath lab table that causes 91% overall scatter radiation reduction and encourage the use of supplemental imaging, that is TEE, IVAS, OCT, road mapping, or use of fluoroscope features. Now in the take-home message, radiation only when imaging is necessary, avoid heavy food, minimize use of cine, minimize step angles of X-ray beam, that is more AP view than the allocranial views, magnification, avoid magnification mode, less the frame rate of fluoroscopy and cine, keep low subject image distance, maximize distance of operator from X-ray source and patients, use collimation to the fullest extent, monitor radiation dose in real time, use fluorosafe features of newer systems, use of supplemental imaging technique, that is IVAS, OCT, or TE, use and maintain appropriate protective lead garments, keep above table, that is hanging, and below table sheets in optimal positions at all times, use red pad, encourage zero gravity radiation protection system. A robotic PCI system may be considered. Keep table height as high as possible for the operator. In every 30 minutes, vary the imaging angle to minimize exposure to any specific area. Think for egg nest cath lab table if possible. So thank you for patient hearing.
Dr. Bijay Datta for your brilliant presentation. May I request Professor Dipankar Chandra Nag, our session chairperson, Professor Dipankar Chandra Nag. Can you hear me? Would you make a comment on this presentation?
Presentation is very good. The adverse effect of coronary angiogram we regularly do, but we don't think actually. And today's Dr. Bijay presentation remind us we should think about it. We should always use proper lead apron. We should always use upper and lower part of the radiation seal. I think we should always, we international cardiologists should always remember about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dipankar Chandra Nag. One question from the fellows regarding the lead apron. This is a very important issue in our day-to-day practice regarding lead apron. The question is, what is the thickness? What should be the thickness of lead shield in radiation protection? Dr. Bijay.
Thank you for a nice question. The radiation, the lead apron thickness should be at least 0.35 millimeter. At least is ideal.
0.5.
Thank you.